Okay, this lesson is on special right triangles, and the one we're going to do today is the 45, 45, 90 triangle. Um, as you notice, it's an isosceles triangle because two of the angles are congruent. That means two of the sides are congruent. And those two congruent sides are the ones that make up the right triangle, right angle, and are called the legs. The side opposite to the right triangle, if you remember, is called the hypotenuse. So since these two sides are congruent, I'm going to just label that x and label this x. And if I want to find this third side in relationship to x, I'm going to go ahead and use Pythagorean theorem to solve for this side, and we call that c in our Pythagorean theorem. So if I have a squared plus b squared equals c squared, I have that the a and b are my legs, so that's x squared plus x squared equals c squared. That gives me 2x squared equals c squared, and I want to be able to solve for the c in terms of the x, so I'm going to solve for c. I'm going to square root that. I could c equals, okay, well, the square root of x squared is just x, and then that is square root of 2 stays there. So that means that the hypotenuse is going to be found by taking x times the square root of c. Sorry, square root of 2. All right, so as you can see here, it is labeled. Here are my two congruent sides, and you can find the hypotenuse is going to be the longer side, so you're going to take that leg times the square root of 2 to get to the hypotenuse. So if I want to get the hypotenuse, I'm taking the leg times the square root of 2. And then if I want to get to the leg, I'm going to take the hypotenuse and divide it by the square root of 2 since I'm getting smaller to go from hypotenuse to leg. So try and keep that in mind. Are you getting bigger or are you getting smaller? And then just decide whether you're going to be multiplying by the square root of 2 or dividing by the square root of 2. Okay, so here are some examples. And label your triangle with whatever you can. So this is a 45, and there's your 90 degrees. That means this is also 45 degrees. And that means these two are your two congruent sides or your two congruent legs. All right, so if that is 3, then x is also going to equal 3. So x equals 3. Now y is going to be found by, again, I'm getting the hypotenuse, which is larger than the leg. So I'm going to take the leg and multiply it by the square root of 2. So 3 times the square root of 2. Okay, and that can be your exact answer. If you want an approximation for that, you would just put that in your calculator, and let's do 3 decimal points. So that value is going to be 4.243. 4.243 as the decimal approximation. Okay, let's move on to example number 2. Again, here's your 45 degrees. That's my other 45 degrees. That means these are my two congruent legs. So y is automatically going to be the same as that. So y is going to equal 2 square root 3. Okay, so I'm going again from leg to hypotenuse. I'm getting bigger, so I'm going to take 2 square root of 3, and I'm going to multiply it by the square root of 2. Okay, again, you're getting bigger, so you multiply. So that simplifies to 2 square root of 6. Okay, and that is your answer as an exact answer. If you want your approximation, you're going to put that in your calculator, and 2 square root of 6 is approximately 4.899. Okay, so this is 4.899. All right, so notice in these last two examples, there is the hypotenuse that is given. So I'm going to be getting smaller to find my leg. Again, here's your 45 degrees. And it's already labeled that these are your two congruent legs. So you're going to take the 4 and you're going to get smaller. So you're dividing by the square root of 2. So you want to rationalize that when that happens. So you take that times the square root of 2 over the square root of 2. If you remember how to rationalize, you multiply by the value of 1. That will get rid of the radical in the denominator. So this is going to be 4 square root of 2 over that square root of 4, which is 2. And that simplifies this 4 and 2 simplify to give you 2 square root of 2. All right, so that's 2 square root of 2. Then this is also 2 square root of 2. Okay, in this last example, you're given the hypotenuse. That's already a radical. So again, you're getting smaller. So to find y, you're going to take 10 square root of 2, and you're going to divide it by square root of 2. Now this one's nice because the square root of 2's cancel and gives you just 10. Well, that means this is also 10. And you can see you're going from hypotenuse to leg. You're just going to be getting rid of that square root of 2. Okay, so that was 45, 45, 90 degree special triangles.